everybody. A very good July 10th to you here from North Texas. Thanks for following along. Thanks for coming back for another video. Before we get started, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell. Make sure you know when we have another video ready for you. We always like to bring you encouraging content, and I've got a lot to talk about today. The things that I want to talk about today: noise, distraction, caring what others think, and that chip on your shoulder. But above all else, that positive mindset that takes away all that. You know, there's been a lot of things that have been going on in my life and a lot of things that I've been caring way too much about. And I talk about that noise. I talk about that distraction. Yeah, what I mean by noise is there will always be people who will say what they want to say about you, no matter how well they know you, don't know you, whatever the case may be. It's always going to be there. And especially when you start making an impact and people notice and they don't like it or they're jealous of it, they're going to say something to somebody else. It's going to get around to you. But the problem is, I have tend to listen to too much of it because along the same lines, and I just talked about it, caring what others think. And that has always been a big problem for me throughout my life. I've always been a people pleaser. But throughout the last 7 months, I've kind of had to change my mindset. How much do I care, and how much is it going to take away from the impact that I really want to make in this world or wherever I am with the people that I'm around on social media and being positive every single day? So the noise, the distractions, the caring what others think, the chip on my shoulder, all those things were always there for me. It was always something I struggled with. Throughout my life, it didn't matter whether it was my mom, whether it was my grandparents, whether it was my coaches, whether I always wanted to please them. I always wanted to do the right thing. And in some instance, to me, it's still very much there. But the problem, not the problem, the difference now with me is I have a different mindset. When I lost my mom, and I think I've talked about this before in other videos and other podcasts, is the hardest lesson I've had to learn is not negotiating time with my family. Now, you know, you do certain things, you get certain calls, and people like your resume, and you know, they want to try to get you out of the company that you're in and come work for them. But some of those companies look great, but they work on the weekends. They're open 7 days a week, and while it looks good, you look at it and go, you know what? That's great, and I appreciate that you're reaching out, but I'm not working on the weekends. That's, you know, my daughter's playing basketball, my son's about to be in soccer. That is our family's time. We go 150 miles an hour Monday through Friday. My daughter has classes on Monday night and Thursday night. And so really, you know, when they come home from every day, I pick them up after work, and there's really no time for us. It's always getting them fed, letting them kind of chill out for the night, and then eventually getting them ready for bed and in bed by 7:30, 8:30, whatever it is. And there's really no, by the time my wife and I get there, we're exhausted. And so the weekends have been our time to, whether it's chill out, whether it's do certain things, whether it's run errands, whether it's do fun things with our kids. I don't want to negotiate that anymore. And if you don't think that should be important to me, why do you think that I would ever entertain coming to where you want me to be? Money doesn't matter. And the point I made, I had a conversation with a friend of mine last night, and I told him, I said, it was one of the hardest things for me to learn. And no offense to my mom, I miss her dearly, but she worked for 25, 30 years in accounting to retire in 2018, be diagnosed in 2019, and pass away in December of 2020, never having earned the retirement that she got, never being able to enjoy it. So I have to take the mindset now that I'm not going to work my life away, that it's going to be point A, point B, my day is done, I'm going to go spend time with my kids, I'm not going to work on the weekend, I'm not going to worry about any of that stuff, because I'm not going to negotiate the time that I spend with them. But through all that, I've also wanted to make a positive impact in this world. Whatever it is, being positive in everything that I do. But with that comes people who don't like the impact that I'm making because whether it's not liking me on spec or it's personal, whatever the case may be. But when you're going through these things, when you're hearing the noise, when it becomes a distraction, when you start caring what that noise is, then it creates a chip on your shoulder, and all of a sudden your mindset that was positive is gone. And now it's negative, and now you're in the doldrums, and now you're trying to pick yourself up, and why don't people like me? And when you stop caring about these things is when you can keep the mindset that you have. The noise, the distractions, the chip on your shoulder caring what others think. You got to put that stuff away. And I have learned that lesson over my life. Trust me when I tell you, it's not the easiest thing in the world. It's not. But here's the point that I will make. If you want to make an impact in this world, there will be people that will make noise, that will try to be a distraction. The 5 people that will be the distraction will try to make as much noise as they can because they want to sound bigger than they actually are. The thing that you're missing in that impact is the 100 people that you are making an impact on are then changing their mindset, making an impact on another 100 people. You're not realizing that, and you want to stop making the impact because the 5 people are being loud. If every business stopped doing business because of the Yelp reviews that they've got, fair or not, how many businesses would be open right now? How many successful businesses have negative reviews? All of them. At least one. Even the best businesses. Even Disney. Even Disney World, the happiest place on earth. Disney World, Disneyland, they have negative reviews. What if Walt Disney had just shut his doors when he opened it? Look at the hard stuff that he went through when he opened Disneyland. What was it, back in 55? There were stories that you hear about the first day when the concrete was so hot that the benches were actually melting into the concrete, and actually he had to make a decision with the water. Either he would make sure the bathrooms were working or the drinking fountains were working. So what he did was he was having his vendors sell Coca-Cola, and he was having the bathrooms open, the drinking fountains weren't working, and people were so mad at him and saying, you just wanted to get more money by making everybody buy Coca-Cola. But what they didn't realize is had he just turned on the water fountains to make sure that they had free water, they weren't going to be able to use the bathroom, and really that was the most important thing. When did that story actually come out? The best places on earth have negative reviews somewhere. So what you're doing is no different than what anybody else in history has done. What I'm trying to do is no different than what anybody else in history has done. So what I need to do is take the mindset that I'm going to get rid of this stuff. That I'm going to stop worrying about the noise. I'm not going to let it be a distraction. And I'm not going to let it create a chip on my shoulder. And with that, I'm not going to care what anybody else thinks. I'm going to do what I do. And I'm going to work harder. That noise, the chip on your shoulder does nothing but make it worse for you. And I'm going to tell this story, and I was trying to figure out whether I was going to tell this story or not, but I want to be transparent, so I'll tell it. My parents divorced when I was 5 years old. And throughout my life, my mom and dad really didn't like each other. It was just, for one reason or another. It doesn't matter why. And throughout my life, it always seemed like my mom had the biggest chip on her shoulder where my dad was concerned. Even long after I had gotten married, starting having kids, she still had that chip on her shoulder. And I couldn't for the life of me figure out why. And the thing was, I kept telling my mom, that hurts nobody but you. That doesn't hurt him. If you're trying to hurt him, having a chip on your shoulder doesn't hurt him. It only hurts you. It only affects you negatively. And finally, towards the end of her life, and I don't remember if it was before her diagnosis or after, that chip slowly started to be filled in. Slowly started to be filled in until she actually got to the point where she forgave him and that chip was completely gone. Which was a really good thing. But if you have a chip on your shoulder about one thing or another, and you can tell the story about Michael Jordan, I don't think it was a chip on his shoulder. I just think he loved having things that would make him be better, stronger, faster, and work harder. Wasn't a chip on his shoulder. He just loved proving people wrong. A chip on your shoulder, a chip on our shoulder, a chip on my shoulder only hurts us. And so what I want to encourage you with today is the ability to put those blinders on. When a horse runs a race, there's a reason that they put blinders on so he doesn't see the horses next to him. Eventually he does. He can hear them, but he can't see them unless they're in front of him. But it focuses the horse on straight ahead. There are times that we need to put those blinders on and focus straight ahead. When someone's paralyzed, they put that, that metal collar, whatever brace, I forget what it's called, but it keeps the head from turning. Maybe that's what we need is to have our necks paralyzed to keep us faced completely forward, to where our head doesn't do this, because the more that we look around, the more that we start focusing on things around us and the noise that's coming in, the distraction that is all around us, and the noise coming from different people and the detractors coming from other people, and that starts this feeling of, oh gosh, I can't believe they don't like me. I care about what people think, and I don't want to be bad. You have 15 friends. The two people that don't shouldn't matter, because you're missing out on the 15 that do and who know who you are 100%. The two people that don't like you, or the 3 or the 4 or the 5 or the 6 or the 15, and it doesn't matter. The people that don't, and the people that are making the most noise, are the people who don't know you. They just want to make noise because they want to take you away from the impact that you're trying to make. So I would encourage you today, I really hope that you're taking this to heart, because believe me when I tell you, I'm telling this for me, and I've said that before. I spent too much of my life caring about what others thought of me. And it wasn't until I lost my mom that I changed this mindset. So let me tell you something real quick. My routine in the morning when I go to work has always been, I should say my routine Monday through Friday, let me clarify that. My routine has always been to get up in the morning, to open my phone, and my Bible app is always the first one to get opened. And I have at least 3 or 4 devotionals that I have, and I'll read scripture through each one of them. Some of them resonate with me, some of them hit me quite hard, and that's some of the stuff that I'll kind of resonate with and I'll think about, and I'll try to formulate a positive thought in my head, and I'll have a conversation with God. And just today, as we're sitting at church, I'm listening to the pastor talk, and this image God kind of played in my head was this kid sitting on the ground against a wall with his hands here, his head down. Sorry, as I hit my microphone. You know, when you have your arms crossed and your head kind of in your arms, your legs pulled up to your chest. And I was just sitting there feeling sorry for myself. I'd lost my mom. I didn't know how to recover from that. How in the world do I recover from losing my mom? And not only that, but how do I recover from never being able to say goodbye? How in the world do I get over that? How in the world do I get past not being able to come home to San Diego, to walk into my mom's house, to hold her hand, and to say goodbye one final time, and to say I love you? I didn't get that opportunity. And I felt sorry for myself, and I was angry. And I was that kid sitting up against the wall, angry and miserable. And I was distracted from the things that I wanted to do. I was distracted from my wife, from my kids, from being a husband, from being a father, from being the friend that I needed to be to some of the guys that I have here. Not saying they count on me, but I just became different. And I shut everybody else out, with the exception to maybe 1 or 2 people who I'm extremely close to. And I was transparent. I was pissed. I was mad. I was angry. And I was short with everybody and I was just mad at everybody that crossed my path. And it wasn't, the vision played out in my head as I'm sitting at church, and it resonated around, again, this same conversation with the same friend last night. And I told him, I've been struggling. No, I'm trying to be transparent. Please don't, whoever knows my mom, please don't take offense to this. It's just what I'm going through in my own head. I don't know if you don't agree with it. I don't really care. It's not for you to judge. If you're going through your own thing with being close to my mom, that's your thing. This is mine, and I'm being transparent. This is what I'm going through. Don't like it, you don't have to listen, you don't have to watch. It's that simple. But what I told this friend of mine last night, what I'm struggling with, and it's only been in the last couple of weeks, I told him, you know what? There's this anger that has been building back up in me. And I really thought I was over my mom's death, and then I realized it really wasn't the fact that I was over my mom's death. I had gotten past not being able to say goodbye, and I'd kind of dusted myself off from that and changed my mindset, and I pushed forward, and I got into a completely different mindset. But I found myself over the last at least 2 weeks with this little bit of anger that still resonated. And I couldn't figure out what the anger was until just the other day as I'm driving. It's funny, these thoughts usually come to me at night, and I don't know why. And I love driving at night. It's peaceful, it's quiet. The heat of the Texas summers has kind of burned off, and it's cooled off. The breeze has kicked up a little bit. And it was so clear what was going on with me. I felt like the person that taught me never to quit did exactly what they taught me not to do. I felt like my mom had quit. Like she didn't work hard enough. I'm not saying that's exactly what happened. I'm not putting that on my mom to say, you didn't work hard enough, you quit. You taught me never to quit, and you quit. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the anger resonated around feeling like the person that taught me not to quit did exactly that. That this anger said, you didn't work hard enough. This anger said, you could have done more. This anger said, you could have gotten a second, third opinion. This anger said, you could have worked harder to be around for your granddaughter or your grandson. This anger said, you could have had more time with us as a family. That anger said, you could have been. You see what I'm saying? But as I sat there, as this vision played in my head as I'm sitting at church, I remember the vision of me looking up and God standing over me, looking at me kind of with this cocked head as if to say, what are you doing just sitting there? And the vision plays out like this. I look up and God's standing looking down at me, kind of like a father would. Like, what do you if you play sports, let me just call it basketball because it seemed like this is what it was, because I could see hardwood around me and it looked like a padded wall that I was sitting up against. And when you lose a big game and you sit there and you kind of feel sorry for yourself, oh, I missed the game-winning shot, right? I lost the game. I lost the state championship. This is going to be my last high school game and we couldn't get it done. That kind of feel sorry for yourself kind of thing. And I looked up and God was looking back down at me, kind of again with that cocked head, like, he finally said, what are you doing? And I looked up and I said, she quit. He goes, I'm sorry? And I said, she quit. He goes, son, there's nothing that you can do. She's in a place where I have her happier than she's ever been. And I said, but I lost my mom. It was the one person that I talked to about everything and gave, every exciting detail, and the kids miss talking to her. And I'll never forget God going, and I had to watch my son be crucified. And my son left after 3 days with a smile. You're in month 7. What's your problem? Why are we still here? Why are you still sitting here feeling sorry for yourself? And it was at that moment that I realized it doesn't matter what I think. That I'm just distracting myself from the impact that I want to make. I'm just distracting myself and almost letting that anger and that resentment start to come back in and start to replay this all over again when I had already gotten past that. It's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to lose a parent. I imagine it's even harder for a parent to have to bury a child. And that was kind of the conversation that God and I had. I had to bury my son. You lost your mom in a disease that you knew eventually takes somebody's life. It wasn't as dramatic or as traumatic as watching my son be crucified on a cross. There's nothing that you can throw at me that I can't handle, because I've had it far worse than you, son. So get up, dust yourself off again. You haven't been in the dirt. You're just sitting here feeling sorry for yourself. All the noise, all the distractions, all the caring about what others think, that chip on your shoulder was gone a month ago, and now here it comes. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. This was never about you. but you learned a very difficult lesson, and you have come to the place where I have always wanted you to be, because this is what you were made for. So go back to doing what you were made to do. So if you're going through these problems, if you're going through these mindsets, if you're going through these angers, if you're going through these resentments, if you're going through loss, I'm telling you, this isn't about you. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's difficult. I know. I've walked through it. I've walked through it. I lost the one person I didn't think I was going to lose. I thought my mom was going to be invincible. I thought there was just no way. I had another 5 or 10 years with her. No way. I never saw this coming. I will forever remember the phone call I got on Thanksgiving weekend telling me the doctors had told her that there is nothing more that they can do. Do I blame the hospital? I would lie. I'd be lying if I said no. The hospital and the oncologist and some of the doctors that she worked with, not her primary, but some of the ones that the hospital system that she worked with, do I have blame towards them? Yes, but I can't hold on to that. I have to, this chapter of my life is done. There's nothing I can do to change it. I would give everything up that I have right now that I received from my mom's passing to have her back, to talk to her, for the kids to see her on FaceTime like they always did, for her to go on trips with us. I would give it all up. It doesn't mean a thing. I don't care. I would love to have my mom back, but the thing is, I can't. And asking her to be back on this earth, suffering like she was, hurting like she was, isn't fair, and it's not right. So I tell you, the noise, the distractions, what you feel, the pain you're going through, I love what Eric Thomas says, get a reward from it. I love that mindset, because if you can get through this pain, you're going to help and impact somebody else that is going to go through it and isn't as strong as you are. And that's what I'm hoping to do with the pain that I went through for the last 7 months. I'm hoping that what I went through and talking about it and being transparent will help somebody else. I know there will be people who don't like me talking about this. I know there's people that are going to roll their eyes, and that's fine. That's them. But for the other 100, 200, 300 that I'm hoping to reach, or whatever the case may be, those few detractors and noisemakers, I can't hear it. I have to put the blinders on. I have to put the headphones on. And I have to keep my focus forward on what impact I want to make. And I want to do it every single day, because the people that come up to me and say, I love the post that you do, for the guys that I'm friends with who say, keep doing what you do every day, that's everything. That's everything. Don't worry about the noise. Don't worry about the distractions. It takes you away from what God has called you to do. Put the blinders on, put the headphones on, and keep your focus forward. That's where you go. Don't take your steps backwards, but I will tell you there's going to be one or two. But for every step that you take backwards, you better be able to take 2 or 3 forward and gain that momentum back. I miss my mom every day, every single day. My daughter and son have a photo on a piece of wood that the picture went on, and it sits in their room. My son sleeps with that every night. He says goodnight to my mom every night. Sometimes that makes me tear up or choke up like I am now. She was a huge impact on who I am. I hope that the things that I'm trying to do, I hope that the impact that I'm trying to make would make her proud. I really do. But am I doing it to make her proud? No, because then I would care what she would think. But I hope that I hope that she's watching. I hope that she's listening. I hope that she's seeing that the impact that I watch her make that I watched her make on people and knew that she made on people that she worked with her positive mindset every day and listening skills and caring about people. That's what I got from her, and I'm hoping that I'm taking that and creating a new legacy with it, because that's what I want to do. I want to impact so many people in a positive way. I want to teach them how to change their mindset to be positive every single day. Whether that's, I could sit here and go, I'm telling you, believing in God and believing that He wants so much for you and has a plan for you and has a purpose for you to create a hope and a future. But if you're struggling with that, at least change your mindset to be positive every day, to put something positive in your ears, whether it's a motivational speaker, whether it's worship music, whether it's complete silence, whether it's just trying to smile every single day when you get up and go, hey, I've got a job that I get to go to. I have a paycheck that keeps a roof over my head. I've got beautiful kids that I get to raise. I've got a spouse that I love being around, and a marriage that just blesses me, or a relationship that just blesses me. I have so much more than I don't. And that is what you can carry forward. I love y'all. I hope that encourages you. It's been a hard walk for me. It really has. But I truly hope in some form or fashion that you can find those blinders, those headphones, and you can keep your focus ever forward without turning your head too much. Because people will try to turn you one way or another to distract you from the blessing that's straight ahead. I love y'all. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we will talk to you on the flip side. And as always, be kind, be focused, and be great. We'll see you. Hey everybody, Todd Kaufman here. Thanks so much for watching the video. If you love what I bring, if you love the content, if you love the positive mindset, and you want some of that mindset too, if you want to know how to change it, if you're struggling with something, man, I love that you're here. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and ring that bell so you know every time I put a video up. I hope this blesses you. I love y'all. Get that positive mindset. Get that change. Be kind. Be focused. But above all, be great. Hit that subscribe. I'd love for you to come back.